listening to Black Talk Radio News with Scotty Reed, broadcasting from behind these enemy lines, known as USA Inc. Today, as we stated, we will be speaking with Mr. Haki Ammi, who is the CEO of Success Scholar, which is based in Baltimore, Maryland. We will be talking to him about the upcoming National Convention of the Oppressed, which will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, from July 14th to July 17th. There are many guest speakers who are slated to speak, and we're looking forward to hearing more information. So we want to bring in Mr. Ammi. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Yes, sir, and thank you, brother Scotty Reed. I appreciate this opportunity to dig. We got something amazing coming up, so I'm just excited to be on this call, and more excited about what's going to happen at the Convention of the Oppressed.
Well, before we talk about the Convention of the Oppressed, again, which will take place in Cleveland, Ohio, in just about 2 weeks here, but you are a black business owner, and
Yes,
part of what we do as a network is we try to promote, black business and buying black. And so you are based in Baltimore. So before we talk about the National Convention of the Oppressed, tell a little bit about the type of black business that you have.
Well, certainly, and I consider myself an entrepreneur, on different aspects. I'm still in a role of employee in a sense, but I don't really do a whole lot of that. So for the most part, I'm a best-selling author. I co-authored a book with Brother George Fraser and Les Brown. George Fraser wrote the book Success Runs in Our Race and Race for Success, and Les Brown is a motivational speaker. So I've been promoting over the past 2 years. I've been marketing other authors' books, speaking engagements in the Baltimore and D.C. area. So I've been selling conscious books, and I have an online site, HarambeBooks.com. So I've been doing that for some years, and now, things are evolving. So I'm getting more into some films and more speaking and training as well. Training on survival techniques and black empowerment. So that's what I'm doing.
Now, if we may ask you, because this is a part of what we see happening in Baltimore, especially as things are connected to the Freddie Gray trial, but not exclusive to his mistreatment at the hands of Baltimore police. But now we're hearing, attacks against the state's attorney, Marilyn Mosby, and attempts to get her removed from office. And so, what is going on with everything in Baltimore? I know, none of these people have been found convicted. I think they're opting for bench trials, which means there's no jury, it's just a judge. So, what's the city like, man? What the people feeling like today with all seeing so much injustice going on? I'm on the outside looking in, you there.
Right. Well, yeah, so there's a lot of pain, brother. There's a lot of pain and anger and frustration because, particularly over this case, the facts of the case is that the brother wasn't injured before he was arrested. So, what happened? The thought is that, whether or not individuals intended to do it, intended to kill Freddie Gray is different than the actual fact that it happened. So the reality is cause and effect. Something happened to him. He didn't do it to himself. It wasn't self-inflicted. So therefore, on some levels, somebody should be held accountable. So that's the thought, of people on the ground, and it's most logical.
Yeah, very logical.
Without looking at the other circumstances. And I'm not necessarily in the law profession in a sense. I'm in the human profession of human rights, and thinking that somewhere along the line, his life was taken prematurely. So that's a reality of what's happening in Baltimore. We're under various levels of oppression, brother, and that's why we have to continue to come together, continue to enlighten each other on our reality, our conditions. Yes, I know some people say we talk about problems, but we have to address, our history, in a sense, the history of oppression and the history of disenfranchisement, so that we can take a proper inventory and know how to, like you huddle up as a team and you say, look, that's the opponent, and this is what his moves and tactics and strategies are, and this is where we have to maneuver ourselves. So that's what this is, coming together for a team huddle, because we see the dynamic shifting right before our eyes with this Trump movement building in America. So we're going to put a stop to that right now.
Well, that's a good segue into talking about the National Convention of the Oppressed. First annual, I assume, would be correct to say.
Yes,
is there any thoughts of making this an annual thing?
Well, I'm not sure where they want to go with it. With Brother Chairman and our Attorney General would like to go with it, but I stand behind our brother Malik Zulu Shabazz, who's been on the front line for years, long as I've known him. I think I've known him for about 15. So, he's certainly been a warrior, for just an upstanding brother. So
we'll say that question for him. He will be with us next week. So we'll say that question for him. But you mentioned Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, and he's the convener of this convention. The National Convention of the Oppressed, again, will take place in Cleveland on July 14th through the 17th. That's just 2 weeks away. But there are other well-known names here of scholars, of activists, of human rights advocates, people in the media and what have you. So, I mean, it looks like, it's going to be a lot going on over those 3 days, as I don't imagine. I mean, even got, some American Indian speakers who are going to speak and whatnot. So what's your role in all of this, bro? Would you be speaking as well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. I'll be speaking Friday, and I believe, I'm going to be talking about, Black economics as a, model for empowerment. So I don't think we're doing a panel. We may do a panel as well, but Dr. Boyce Watkins, Mike Roberts, that's another speaker, Sister Ifat Murray, I believe her name, down from Atlanta. There's a few others that's going to be speaking that Friday. So that's when I'll be there. And, we got Saturday coming, Dr. Cornel West, Eric Lamont Hill, I believe Polite, Seti, and, a few others. The Warrior Woman, that's the indigenous sister. I've seen her several times over the years. So, just a few, strong advocates that have been putting in the work in different spaces and spheres over the past few years. So I'm just, ready to wrap it, getting ready, brother, ready to rumble.
So if you would give us a preview of, what you will be talking about. You mentioned economics, and certainly all throughout, our history, key figures have talked about Black empowerment through economics, whether we're using it as a weapon by withholding it from the enemy, or whether we're withholding it from the enemy and at least circulating it in our community so that, we don't even have to deal with the enemy. So give us a preview of what you'll be talking about on that Friday.
Well, certainly. And, I'm going to hit very, very heavy on dealing with mindset, of oppression, and how it limits our economic mobility. Because I firmly believe, outside of the, who's going to get elected, we're going to have to access our own personal power and understand the art of war, if you will. Just reality. There are certain limitations. Black people do not control the political process. So we don't, on certain levels, contrary to what these, Negro leaders tell us that, we gave Obama the vote, or we gave such and such the vote. it's limited. It's limited and transitory. So we have to understand that eventually it's going to be up to us to develop ourselves, develop our 21st century skill sets to eliminate these, what I call barriers first and foremost to employment, barriers to our health, our economic well-being, how productive we can be, and as well as our mind. What are we putting into our mind? Are we spending time playing video games, watching, television, socializing, partying, sporting and playing, or are we studying, developing 21st century skills, having our minds in the, eyes in the books, going to conferences, going to listen to empowering speakers, learning from individuals that have been there, finding good mentors to lead us to different places, and keeping our materialism, that false sense of success, these, as the brother Jesse Williams said, these brains on our bodies that don't create assets and generational wealth for us. So we have to, overcome this psychological enslavement, as my brother both Amos Wilson and Naeem Akbar alluded to. So that's what I say, brother. I'm just going to bring, some of my studies of Amos Wilson, Akbar, Claude Anson, and, the teachings of, Garvey, and, just everything I know, and the strategies of, the conference I attended and what I'm doing right now to uplift our community.
That's great. That's great. Now, I'm speaking of economics and the things you said about politics, I'm in total agreement with. I just the other day said that I'm not even going to refer to these people as the Congressional Black Caucus anymore. That's not a black representative. That's not, because they don't represent black people, the constituents who put them in there. So what's the point of helping with the charade of that to make our people think that we got some kind of political power that we don't? Especially when we see all of these black elected leaders who have superdelegate status on the Democratic Party's plantation, and they backing Hillary Clinton. And I know, y'all focusing on Trump and he's included in some of the artwork, but you got brother Cornel West, who for a long time and, throughout this process of this political campaign has been pointing out to how Hillary Clinton has harmed black people. So, man, we got so much to deal with. But on the economic side, though, consider this. You mentioned psychological enslavement. I'm part of a new abolitionist movement. We got a program that we run on this network on Wednesday nights called New Abolitionist Radio. We have a group on Facebook, thousands of members, and we're just an informal movement. And our main thing is trying to impress upon people is that slavery never ended. The 13th Amendment says that they can put you into slavery as punishment for crime. I don't have to explain to you how the criminal justice system is rigged and who's suffering the most going through there, but it is slavery never ended. It just reformatted itself after the Civil War, and black folks did not catch on, to what they were doing. And so we're dealing with that today. I mean, you talk about the economic side of it, the the private prison industry is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry that's growing globally. And they use those black bodies to make products that are then sold on the open market, Fortune 500 companies. And so economics, all of that, I look at those black bodies as stolen wealth from our communities as well. I'll wrap up by saying that.
No, I agree, brother. I agree. And, some years ago when I know we're getting short on time, but, I read the sister's book, The New Jim Crow. That totally woke. I mean, I was already consciously and aware, of the history of oppression, but, that kind of broke it down for me in a very unique way contemporarily. And so, yes, we have to look at these, petty felony convictions as a form of the economic genocide and economic warfare that actually aimed at us. So, if we can consciously be aware of that, in our survival warfare tactics and strategies.
Right.
We'll survive. Yes.
Yeah,
sir.
because that was one of the big things out of the Ferguson report, which we reported that Militia Shabazz was down there and whatnot, and then there was the Department of Justice report that just basically showed it was a money racket, it was a money scheme, and that the mayor was in touch with the chief of police, and they were talking about generating revenue, and they were generating millions of dollars off of black people. Poor black people, and that's enslavement though. The tickets and then put you in the jail. That's slavery, man. That's slavery. That's robbery. And that is why I feel like we really don't have any real wealth, in this country in terms of the masses go. It's constantly being stolen from us, whether they stealing our cash or whether they stealing our bodies.
Right. Oh yeah, man. I just heard about a brother that's going to be on the radio show next week. He's a mortician, and he's going to talk about the organs that's being stolen. And I know about
human trafficking.
Israel.
Organ trafficking. Yeah. Israel was in Haiti. They got kicked out of Haiti. Matter of fact, for that, they got kicked out of Haiti for that. So, Wow. So that's that, man. We just have so many ways that we are being attacked, man. And I'm glad that there's going to be a whole bunch of people to bring the information to the people who attend the convention of the oppressed in the different ways that we're being attacked. Cause it's a multi-pronged attack. It's just not coming at us through one way or two way. It's in every area of people activity, as Mr. Neely Fuller would say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you have anything you would like to leave the listeners with in closing?
Man, I just say, this is the place to be. This is the time for us to, unify, to come together. We're putting down all the, disagreements that we've had. I know that's, pain in our community and a sense of psychological defeat. But now is the time for us to raise up and with a superior, victorious mindset that we will become victorious and that we are unstoppable and we must move in a sense that we, as a people have survived and we are survivors, and that nothing will hold us and keep us in a condition of oppression, and mentally is how they keep us oppressed. And you cannot oppress and enlighten people. So that's what I have to say. So I hope to see everybody, every able-bodied person, to come to Cleveland and get some of this empowerment. Let's move forward and let's free our people.
Mr. Haki Ammi, thank you for speaking with us today. You have a blessed day.
Appreciate you, soldier. Thank you, brother.